Hey there, this is Brian Melsheimer, real estate appraiser with Sierra Nevada Appraisal Group, and I am creating this tutorial video on how to use pvvalue.com and how to come up with a value for a solar system for use for real estate agents. So, if you take in my presentation, there's a couple of things we need to know about the system before we put it into pvvalue.com. The first thing is the system size and the system age. And the best way to get that is to take a look at the building permit that was applied for when the system was installed. So I'm going to pull this up using our county GIS system so I can get some of the building permits here. This property is on Table Meadow Road in Grass Valley in Auburn. Um, and out in South County. So I'm going to pull the details up from the building department. And I do see that there was a solar array that has been final. That was the application date was in 2019. So I'm going to pull up the details of that permit. I can look at the inspections and realize it was finalized also in 2019. Looks like August 1st of 2019. So I know the system is September 13th today, so it's about 2 years, 3 years old, 3 years old. I'm going to look at the details, and it says a roof mount solar PV system, 18.56 kilowatts, which is a pretty large system. There are 58 modules or panels that are 320 watts each with a 7600 watt inverter. The 7600 watt inverter is a little bit of a red flag. That's pretty small considering the size of the modules, the 18.56 kilowatts there. And when I was at the inspection, I realized there were two inverters. So I'm going to make the assumption that this permit actually was for two 7600 watt inverters, which I'm fairly sure that is the case. So the next step is to take a look at the system itself, and I'm going to look at Google Earth. So now we know that it is 3 years old, it's 18.56 kilowatts, and has two 7600 watt inverters. So when I pull it up on Google Earth, here's the property right here in the middle, and I'm going to zoom in on this on the main home right here. You can see there are two different sets of arrays. So on PV value, I'm going to run two separate reports. One is facing this way, and the other is facing this way. Due south is towards the bottom here. So I'm going to have to run a system each way. Now, from what I was able to count these panels. I took some pictures, so that made it a little bit easier. There are 38 panels on the front and 20 panels on the back. So that kind of works out math-wise to 12,160 watts on the front of the home right here and 6,400 watts on the back of the home. I'm also going to split the total power of the inverter. So the total power of the two inverters would be 15,200. I'm going to assume, and kind of that spread, since they're really all connected together, I'm going to run two PV value reports, one with 12,160 watts for the front of the house in terms of the panels, and then 9,960 watts for the inverter. And that's how I'm going to separate those two to kind of make them even. So now I know the size of the system. The next thing that I'm going to do is pull up my the roof azimuth tool, so I can find out the direction of both of those panels. This is a free account here, so I'm going to pull up that property again. And I can zoom in as far as I can. I'm going to use this azimuth tool to just draw a line as close as I can to the edge of that panel, and it's going to point a direction for me. So it's 190 degrees straight down, but it's 280 degrees towards the front of the house and 100 degrees towards the back of the house. So I'm going to assume this front of the house system is pointing at 280, which is the 12,160 watt portion of the system. and the back is pointed at 100 degrees. And now that we know all of that information, we can plug this into the PV value tool. So I'm just going to do it for one system to keep this video nice and short, but I'm going to put in the property address, Table Meadow Road. It's going to come up with the longitude and latitude, so it knows exactly where in the world the system is. It knows the sun patterns, that sort of thing. It's a residential system. It is existing, and the owner told me that it was owned. And the size of the front of the system, 12,160 watts. Its age is 3 years old. It had a 25-year warranty per the owner. I'm going to leave the derate factor and the degradation at the default that's in the system. The array type is a fixed array. There's also a single axis tracker and a dual axis tracker. Most of what we see is a fixed array that it won't move. The roof pitch was a 512. And the array azimuth, we know that that one, the front of the home, was at 200 degrees. So then we'll move on to the inverter. This inverter portion, I'm going to keep the same kind of ratios in the system of the panels and put 9960 in this inverter size. And the inverter warranty is 15 years. Its age is the same as the system. It's never been replaced. And so I'm going to calculate based on that. Today's Fannie Mae interest rate is 5.45%. An average cost basis is roughly 0.5% to 2%. Maybe I want to lower that in this market, that 2% is a little bit high, so I'm going to go 0.5% to 1% and calculate that discount rate. I'm going to use the default PG utility company and rate and escalation rate. And this is going to come up with this portion of the system as 31,000 for the average value of $31,722.32. I can also put in some cost insulation data here if I want to. I like to use Energy Sage as a cost data source, because it'll tell me my exact county and come up with a rough estimate of that of the cost for that sort of system. Just say it was last month, and it's roughly $3 a watt. I'm going to have it use straight line depreciation and come up with a cost estimated value of $32,102.40, which is kind of along the same lines of the income approach to value. So now I can kind of come up with an estimate to that portion. I'm going to create a PDF. If I'm an appraiser, I'm putting this in my report, I'm actually going to come up with a number. But if you're a real estate agent, I'm going to say I'm not a licensed real estate appraiser, so I can show you this this PDF that it generates. So it was downloaded. And I will show you this report that comes up with. It comes up with a bunch of customized estimates for this specific solar system at this point in time based on the discounted rate and the utility rate for the system. And again, this is just the front half of the house. So I'm going to do this again for the back side of the house, but comes up with an estimated value of this energy system, roughly $30,000. I think that would be fairly reasonable for this. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. My company name is Sierra Nevada Appraisal Group in Grass Valley, California. Thank you.